The chosen one. Lean in, this is for you. Your steps did not wander here. They were guided, threaded through 1,000 small obediences to arrive at this precise breath. I'm speaking to the part of you that has felt the countdown in your bones, the holy pressure of a moment approaching from the horizon. Hear me. Friday at midnight will mark a clean break. Not a soft fade, not a gradual easing, but a decisive severing, the kind only heaven can author. The line will be drawn, the page will turn. The weight that tried to name you will have no legal right to travel into your next hour. You are rare, beloved, set apart by design. The fingerprints of God are on your story in ways even your memory cannot hold. That is why the resistance grew louder these last days. The closer you came, the more the old cycle begged to be repeated. But the King has issued a decree over your life enough. The cords are snapping. The residue is lifting. What followed you to the threshold will not cross the threshold. Feel the midnight forming like a key, turning inside the door of time. Heaven is aligning the unseen gears, and the click you've been waiting for is nearer than a whisper. You will sense it first as a hush in your spirit, then as a sudden clarity. What was tangled will untie. What was fogged will become obvious. The clean break is not merely escape from what hurt you. It is entrance into what carries you. Honor meets you on the other side. Authority greets you by name. Do not measure this by how you feel in the flesh. Night often grows its loudest just before it yields. You have survived the noise. Now watch the light do what only light can do. At midnight, covenants are reaffirmed, assignments are reissued, and your identity stands taller than your history. The labels that once clung to you, failure, delay, almost will not pass inspection at the new border. The blood of old battles will not stain tomorrow's garment. I am not here to tease you with riddles. I am here to tell you that the clock has given way to a higher calendar. Friday at midnight is not superstition. It is a summons. Prepare your heart. Gather your yes. Arrange your inner room the way you set a table for a guest you love, because presence is coming with instructions and reward. And though I will not unveil everything, in this breath know this: what heaven removes, heaven replaces with purpose. What heaven closes, heaven crowns. Be still now. The air itself is changing. Listen, the hinges of the hour are already turning. The door is ajar. Step softly, for the holy steps in first. What you sense is not imagination. It is invitation. Beloved, hear the voice behind these words, I am. Not a rumor, not an echo, not the memory of a God you once knew, but the present one, the breath that animates your lungs as you read. The message moving toward you does not originate in human zeal. It bears the weight of the throne room, the fragrance of the inner courts, the seal of a king who signs in covenant, not in ink. You have been asking for confirmation. Heaven answers with presence. You have asked for a sign. Heaven answers with a speaker. I have set. My times and seasons, says the Lord, and I have set you in them. The midnight appointed over your path is not a trick of calendars. It is a decree in the councils of the Most High. Angels have studied your route, measured the terrain of your heart, and cleared the corridor. They do not escort the casual. They keep company with the commissioned. And you, chosen one, are not a wanderer, you are sent. Feel how your spirit recognizes this cadence. The sheep know the shepherd's voice not because they mastered a language, but because the voice mastered them long ago. It braided through childhood prayers, slipped between sleepless nights, threaded through your quiet surrenders. You thought you were merely surviving. He was tuning your ear. You thought you had lost time. He was marking time. Every delay became a drum that taught you heaven's rhythm. Every sigh became syllables in a dialect only love can speak. Do you sense the closeness? The holy does not shout from distances. He refuses to cross. He has crossed everything for you. Oceans of shame, continents of fear, the barren deserts of doubt. He crossed death. He crosses your present. He will cross midnight with you. So when the air shifts and the hour changes its garment, do not tremble as orphans do. You are not fatherless on a threshold. You are escorted. I know the blueprint, he whispers, because I am the architect and the end. Destiny is not a puzzle you must solve before the clock strikes. Destiny is a person who has already struck the hour. He holds your future in hands that still carry scars, proof that covenant costs something, and proof that it has already been paid. Trust the hands, trust the voice. Trust the timing that feels inconvenient to flesh but perfect to faith. Anticipation is not anxiety, it is worship stretched into tomorrow. Let your expectancy be an altar, not a cage. Lay on it your what-ifs, your almosts, your weary analyses. The fire answers altars, not arguments. And when he answers, he does not scorch you. He seals you. He brands you with belonging. He presses a name into your spirit that fear cannot pronounce. That name will carry you through the door. Friday will open. Some will ask you to explain this certainty. You will try, but language bends beneath the weight of the holy. Say simply, "He spoke," I responded, and the road rose to meet me. That is enough. Faith is fluent in brevity. Heaven never needs the applause of explanation to validate what it ordains. So breathe slowly, reverently. Lift your chin not in pride, but in recognition. The face that shines upon you is not a passing light. It is the sun that chooses never to set. Between now and midnight, let your heart be the upper room, and your yes, the open window. The wind will know where to enter. Hold the hush. The scroll is about to unroll. When it does stand where the ink is still wet, and say amen. The seal lifts. Listen for the turning of pages. What was hidden is stepping into light. Chosen one, hear this with the ear beneath the ear. Friday at midnight is the crossing. It is the hour when the river parts without announcement, when footprints form across what once drowned you. A clean break is ordained, swift, surgical, merciful. The axe is laid to the root of patterns that recycled your pain. The cords that tugged you back toward yesterday are being cut at their source, not merely untied at their ends. What clung through memory, habit, and allegiance will lose legal standing. The decree is signed. The verdict is release. Picture a great door at the end of a corridor you have walked for years, sometimes bold, sometimes broken. On this door are hinges forged in waiting and bolts shaped by prayer. At midnight, the key of David turns without strain. You will not wrestle the door. It will consent. This is not the hour to bang with bruised fists. It is the hour to stand still and watch iron remember it was made to move. When the door swings, the draft that rushes through will carry the scent of places you dreamed but could not name rest. Clarity, rightful alignment, and the sound of your true name pronounced without distortion. The blessing arriving is not a glittering distraction. It is governance. It comes in sheets of light, like rain that chooses only the root and leaves the leaf dry. Expect holy precision. Expect the knife of kindness, sharp enough to separate soul from spirit, past from promise, entanglement from covenant. Do not misinterpret the swiftness as violence. It is the tenderness of a surgeon who refuses to let infection travel one more inch. You ask him to heal. He is healing the right thing. There will be a hush in the final minutes before the turn. You may feel a sudden tiredness, a stilling of appetites, the dimming of rooms that once sparkled with counterfeit comfort. Count it as mercy. The holy is lowering the volume on distractions so you can hear the lock release. Watch for an inner unclenching like fingers that have gripped for years, deciding to open without effort. Your spirit will recognize its own Sabbath. Yet the unveiling holds mystery enough to keep you small and worshiping. The path after the door will not be a carnival of instant answers. It will be a road already paved by angels, bordered by promises you thought expired. Some stones will glow, others will wait for your step to light them. This is partnership, not performance. The shepherd goes first, but he will not drag you. The clean break is a gift. The crossing is an agreement. There is also a withdrawing at midnight of permissions. You granted fear of licenses you unknowingly issued to voices that poisoned your hope. Heaven is revoking what you allowed in ignorance. Do not mourn these closures. Mirrors that lied about your size will crack. Maps that kept you circling will blur. Contracts inked in exhaustion will be stamped null. You will feel lighter, not because you have less, but because you are finally carrying only what is yours. And hear this, relationships will clarify. Some companions will be revealed as scaffolding useful in the build, unneeded in the unveiling. Bless them and release them. Others will emerge from the quiet with keys that fit doors you did not know you owned. Honor will find honor. Covenant will recognize covenant. You will not hustle for rooms heaven has reserved in your name. Invitation will locate you, because assignment is magnetic. The blessing that meets you on the far side is not merely provision, it is permission. Permission to operate at the measure you were designed for without apologizing. Permission to finish sentences you silenced to keep peace with chaos. Permission to lay down the armor that kept you alive but kept you heavy. You will work from rest, speak from oil, build from blueprints you receive in prayer rather than panic. The future will no longer bargain with your past. It will set the terms. Expect beauty to come strangely. It will not always look like applause. Sometimes it will look like a closed door you don't have to argue with anymore. Sometimes it will feel like breath returning to the room you used to hold empty. Sometimes it will arrive as an old melody sung in a new key, familiar yet redeemed. Your tears will change languages from grief into gratitude, from pleading into praise. Do not be confused when warfare flares one last time at the threshold. It is the tantrum of evicted things. They do not have authority. They only remember your old agreement. You are not available to them anymore. Answer with silence and movement. The door is open. Conversation is over. Midnight will not argue. It separates. And what of purpose? It will stand up inside you like a lion that has been sleeping with one eye open. Vision will lengthen its stride. You will recall dreams that felt too extravagant to mention. You will hear assignment introduce itself by your middle name, intimate and undeniable. The tools you carry will match the tasks that appear. Favor will feel practical, not theatrical. Paths will meet you like bridges already built, asking only for your feet. Finally, understand in the tenderness beneath the thunder. The clean break is not a rejection of who you were. It is the coronation of who you are. The holy will gather the fragments you thought unusable and set them like jewels in the crown of your testimony. Nothing wasted, nothing random, every scar repurposed as authority. You will step out at midnight, not as an escapee, but as an heir crossing into inheritance. Hold steady in the hush, the lock is learning your name. When you hear the click, do not hesitate, cross. The river is parted. Step where the stones rise to meet your feet. Let the meaning bloom as the mist lifts from the water. Chosen one, a clean break at midnight is more than an event on a clock. It is a covenantal pivot. Heaven is not merely rescuing you from what was. Heaven is revealing who you are. Timing in the kingdom is not a sequence of numbers, but a choreography of purpose. Midnight, in the language of the Spirit, is convergence, the moment when endings and beginnings share a single breath, when the last shadow meets the first light, and neither can claim the hour as its own. It is where God writes transitions in ink that does not smear. Consider light. It does not wrestle darkness. It arrives, and darkness resigns. So too with divine timing. When the appointed hour reaches you, you will not need to force entry. Doors open because light entered the hallway, not because you mastered the hinges. This is why you have felt both stillness and urgency. Stillness, because your striving could not accelerate what only God could schedule. Urgency, because your yes is the posture that participates in the scheduling. Destiny is a duet. His sovereignty, your surrender. The clean break severs more than circumstances. It dissolves agreements your heart signed under pressure. Every compromise has a creed attached to it. The Spirit now rewrites those creeds with a holy pen. Where you once agreed, I must stay small to stay safe. Heaven inscribes, I am hidden in the Almighty. I expand without fear. Where you once consented, delay is my identity. Heaven stamps, appointed, time is my inheritance. This is the depth beneath the hour. Heaven re-educating your inner world until belief and promise speak the same language. Think of storms. They are not only agents of chaos, they are teachers of architecture. They reveal where foundations tremble and where anchoring holds. The trials that carried you to this threshold were not punishments for weakness. They were invitations into wisdom. You learned which voices create wind and which create weather. You discerned the difference between noise and warning. Even the lightning served you. It sketched silhouettes of structures you could not see in sunlight. Now, as the storm moves off the horizon, you are a different builder. You will not over-engineer what God intends to be flexible, and you will not undergird what God intends to carry weight. The journey motif is sacred here. Pilgrims do not criticize the road for winding. They blessed the road for arriving. Every curve kept you from cliffs you did not know were there. Every delay braided stamina to your stride. The sandals you wear now are not decorative, they are priestly. Priests carry presence on their shoulders and soil it with their feet. You have learned to walk with weight and not complain about gravity. The clean break dignifies this formation by giving it proper terrain. Seasons have also spoken. There was a winter that refused conversation, where seeds seemed mute and soil felt stone. Yet heaven hid instruction in the freeze roots travel deeper when surface comforts withdraw. Your faith learned secrecy in that cold. Then spring rehearsed resurrection in small syllables, tiny blades, early buds, daily mercies. Summer taught capacity, not indulgence, how to hold fruit without making it a shrine. Autumn, with its edits and excellences, persuaded you that subtraction is not always loss. Sometimes it is design. Now, on the edge of another turn, you can read the season by scent. Midnight is a season shift captured in a moment. Doors, of course, are not only carpentry, they are law. A door is a verdict about access. The key of David is not a hardware tool. It is a jurisdictional authority. When heaven grants you passage, it is declaring to the powers that organize the seen and unseen. This one is authorized. Therefore, the clean break is legal papers, filed in the court of the king. Seals heat-pressed by fire. That is why resistance felt bureaucratic, delays, confusions, mislabels, misroutes. Hell counterfeits administration when it cannot manufacture power. But the decree now outranks the paperwork of obstruction. Look at identity. In lesser hours, you borrowed names to negotiate rooms capable, agreeable, indispensable. Good names, but partial. Midnight returns you to your given name, the one pronounced when spirit hovered over you before time took measurements. That name carries assignments. It is a tuning fork inside your ribs. When environments vibrate at that frequency, doors answer as if called. When environments oppose it, you no longer force chemistry. You bless and keep walking. Depth is the courage to let your true name offend what once applauded your disguise. Faith is not denial of fact. It is alignment with truth. Fact says the sea is wide. Truth says feet have crossed under covenant. Fact says the prison is locked. Truth says midnight shakes foundations. Fact says the grave is sealed. Truth says third day is a calendar, not a metaphor. The clean break trains you to treat facts with courtesy and truth with obedience. The heart you carry into the next hour will not argue with measurements. It will consult the architect. Transformation is not costume, it is cellular. Heaven is not dressing you in brighter fabric. Heaven is altering the weave. Think of caterpillar to butterfly, yes, but also think of rough stone to cornerstone, water to wine, Abram to Abraham. Each transformation carries assignment and architecture. You are being fitted, not merely favored. The new measure prevents old misuses. Where attention once exhausted you, authority will now require you. Where opportunity once seduced you, wisdom will now steward you. The difference is depth no longer chasing rooms that feed your hunger. You will build rooms that feed others. Divine timing weaves humility and boldness into a single thread. Humility bows to the source. Boldness obeys the instruction. You will feel both at once, eyes wet with awe, feet loud with certainty. This is not contradiction. It is consecration. Pride imitates boldness without tears. Fear imitates humility without movement. The Spirit is giving you the holy mixture that terrifies hell, a worshiper who advances. Even your language will convert. You will speak shorter and say more. Your prayers will thicken with gratitude and specificity. Vague longing will harden into decree shaped by intimacy. Praise will precede outcome, because presence precedes evidence. Gratitude will not be an etiquette. It will be a warfare that denies scarcity the right to narrate your day. In this depth, complaining becomes a foreign dialect you cannot pronounce. Understand also the economy of surrender. Every yes costs, but not all costs are losses. When you relinquish what the Spirit highlights, heaven does not debit your life. It exchanges currencies. You hand over weight. You receive authority. You release timelines. You receive appointment. You surrender outcomes. You receive oil. This is why the break is clean, to prevent you from bartering with what heaven has already bought. Finally, the why beneath the wonder, God is jealous for wholeness in you. Not perfection wholeness. Wholeness means nothing fractured, has the right to narrate your value, and nothing missing has the power to negotiate your future. The clean break escorts you into this wholeness by shutting down corridors where fragments took turns steering. In that wholeness, worship is no longer an emergency call. It is your atmosphere. Hope is no longer a pep talk. It is your native climate. Peace is no longer a rare weather pattern. It is the sky you live under. Hold your shoulders like one who has learned the grammar of grace. The next instruction will fit your hands as if they were made together. The instruction waits in your palm. Look for the fingerprints around it. Confirmation is already speaking in the language of your life. Chosen one. Heaven is kind. It does not herd you into midnight without leaving breadcrumbs of wonder along the path. These signs are not parlor tricks. They are pastoral care, gentle, personal, specific enough to steady you and broad enough to keep you humble. Attend to them with reverence, not superstition. Let them confirm what your spirit already knows. First, the sign of synchronized time. You will notice the clock catching you 11:59, flickering as you glance without trying. It is not fear's countdown. It is alignment's wink. Time itself is bowing, reminding you that appointment outranks schedule. You may wake precisely at the same minute on consecutive nights or finish a task exactly as the hour turns. Receive it as a nudge. You are in rhythm. Do not rush. Do not drag. Walk. Second the sign of the quieted appetite. Longings that once shouted will lower their voice, not from apathy, but from saturation. Foods. Entertainments, conversations that used to distract you will feel oddly tasteless. This is not depression. It is consecration. The holy is recentering your palate so you can taste instruction. When lesser cravings go dim, higher hunger gets bright. Let the silence be bread. Third, the sign of effortless clarity. Where you used to make pro-con lists that tangled like vines, You will feel a simple yes or no, settle like a stone in clear water. The question didn't get smaller. Your spirit got sharper. Emails will answer themselves while you read them. Invitations will sort into assignment and noise without debate. You will wonder if you're being careless. No, you are being carried. Fourth, the sign of names and phrases repeating. A word, a place, a scripture, a line from a song will surface in unrelated spaces on a billboard, in a message, in a stranger's comment at the market. Repetition is not a gimmick. It is a highlighter from heaven. Do not chase the aesthetic. Hear the emphasis. Ask, what are you underlining for me? Then write it down. Stewarded emphasis becomes guidance. Fifth, the sign of small doors opening by themselves. Not the headline doorway yet, tiny hinges in daily life paperwork that processed ahead of estimate a backlog that suddenly clears a favor granted without your lobbying. These are practice crossings. Step through gratefully and keep your stride. The point is not to camp at a small door. It is to train your feet to move when doors consent. Sixth, the sign of unusual rest. Sleep may come softer, or if sleep is scarce, your waking will carry rest's fragrance anyway. You will exhale deeper without noticing. The unsolvable thought loop loses energy mid-circle. This rest is not laziness. It is legal permission to stop wrestling what heaven has already ruled on. Honor it. Let your shoulders memorize the new weightlessness. Alongside these, expect holy interruptions, brief delays that prevent missteps, unexpected early arrivals that spare you from unnecessary waiting. Buses you just happen to catch. Traffic that holds you 5 minutes and saves you from a wrong room. The choreography will be kind. The shepherd knows your pace and edits the road in mercy. You may also notice the sign of selective favor. It won't be loud everywhere. It will be precise somewhere. One conversation opens like a flower, while 3 others feel wooden. Follow the blooming. Favor is not random. It's a map. Where honor meets you, assignment is near. Do not despise gentler signals. A sudden tenderness towards someone you resented, a nudge to delete a number, a craving to clean your space. External order often shadows internal order. When you put books back on shelves and receipts in folders, do it as a liturgy preparing your tent for the ark. If warfare flares, read it as a counterfeit sign trying to draft your attention. Old accusations may rehearse themselves with new vocabulary. Do not hold a court session. Hold your peace. The judge has already ruled. Let silence be your verdict and movement your appeal. You are not chasing omens. You are receiving confirmations. If you fear misreading, ask for the companion's patience, and he will slow the parade until you can wave back. The point is not decoding. The point is devotion. Signs steady the stride of the loved. Gather what appears. Tuck it like manna in tomorrow's pocket. Now, lift your face. The path is brightening ahead. The path is brightening, but every dawn has its mist. Do not fear the fog. It is mercy teaching you to listen. Chosen one, before the clean break manifests fully, you may encounter shadows that try to persuade you the promise was a dream. These are not punishments, they are proofs. Tests arrive to confirm strength already grown, not to expose weakness. Heaven allows measured resistance the way a good trainer adds weight, so your new posture becomes permanent. First, the challenge of echoing voices. Old narratives will knock with updated language. Are you sure? What if you're misreading? These whispers mimic your tone so they can borrow your credibility. Do not hold debate clubs with doubt. Answer with alignment. Stand up. Breathe slow. Repeat what was promised. And take the next small, obedient step. Movement is a sermon hell cannot refute. Second, the challenge of timing, discomfort. As midnight nears, some hours will stretch thin and others will sprint. You may feel behind at 3 p.m. and ahead by 3:07. This rubber band rhythm is not chaos, it is calibration. The Spirit is teaching your heart to keep time with presence rather than pressure. When the hour jerks, do what priests do, steady the ark within, and the procession will steady around you. Third, the challenge of relational sift. Alignment clarifies companionship. Some will misread your quiet focus as distance. Others will feel pricked by your peace. You are not responsible for managing everyone's interpretation of your obedience. Bless gently. Explain briefly. Continue boldly. A door cannot open and please every wall. Remember, scaffolding leaves when structures you stand. It is not betrayal. It is construction completing. Fourth, the challenge of holy boredom. Do not be surprised if the spectacular pauses and the ordinary resumes with fresh repetition. Dishes, emails, errands, the low hum of life. This boredom is a buffer, not a banishment. It protects the seed just planted. Worship here. Excellence here. If you can remain faithful without fireworks, you will handle favor without fallout. Fifth, the challenge of last-minute noise. Evicted patterns may stage a final parade, sudden distractions, urgent but not important requests, opportunities with shiny terms and dull truth. These are threshold theatrics. Silence the drumline by clarifying your assignment aloud. Say, "This is what I'm carrying. Everything else can wait." Heaven honors specificity. Hell drowns in it. There is also the private challenge fatigue that feels heavier than it should. This is often spiritual jet lag, the soul crossing time zones faster than the body. Instead of condemning your weariness, care for it. Drink water. Step outside. Lay where the sun can find your face. Pray simple. Sleep when granted. The shepherd does not grade you on endurance miles. He trains you for long obedience with humane intervals. When fear surfaces, name it without kneeling to it. This is fear of loss. This is fear of being wrong. Bring it into light and watch its edges soften. You are not late. You are not fragile glass. You are oak in the making, rings forming where pressures pressed but did not pierce. If finances rattle or logistics not, remember scarcity is loudest right before it is evicted. Do the next true thing. Send the email. Review the numbers. Ask for counsel without surrendering your authority. Miracles often dress a bath that finally balances. Above all, refuse the accusation that tests equal distance. The teacher is always quietest during the exam because he trusts the student. Heaven's silence is not absence. It is confidence. You are more prepared than you feel. Let encouragement anchor you. The clean break has already been signed. You are simply walking to meet it. Every challenge is a checkpoint verifying identity. Pass through with worship, with honesty, with simple obedience. Now, gather your strength. Instruction is approaching like a lamp for your hands. What you do next will agree with who you have become. The lamp is in your grip. Lift it and see how the path greets your feet. These are not suggestions. They are kindness shaped like commands. Chosen. 1. Heaven's strategy is simple enough to obey and weighty enough to alter generations. Receive these steps not as chores, but as covenant practices, ways of walking that make you unmistakable to the promise already searching for you. Sanctify the midnight. On Friday, 15 minutes before the hour and 15 after, set the time apart. Dim the lights. Silence the room. Place a journal and a glass of water before you, a sign of readiness and refreshment. Stand for 1 minute, then kneel for 1 minute, then sit with an open palm for 1 minute. In standing, you honor the King. In kneeling, you yield the will. In open palms, you receive instruction. Whisper, I agree with your timing. This posture will tell your soul what your spirit already knows. The door belongs to God. The yes belongs to you. 2. Pray 3 sentences, no more, no less. Keep them crafted, but alive, a sentence of gratitude, a sentence of surrender, a sentence of asking. Example. Thank you for ordaining my times. I surrender the patterns that have carried me backward. I ask for the clean break that carries me forward. Limiting words trains the heart to trust that presence is not bought with paragraphs. 3. Name and nullify. Write the 3 recurring lies that tried to govern your identity. Draw a horizontal line through each and write the corresponding truth above the strike. Read the truths aloud, then tear the page and discard it. Keep a clean leaf for the truths and tape it where your eyes will meet it at waking. This is not theatrics, it is governance revoking licenses, darkness used by your permission. 4. Leave one room different. Choose a physical space you touch daily. Desk, nightstand, entry table, and reset it with reverence. Remove clutter-wipe surfaces. Place one meaningful object, a verse, a photograph, a stone from a holy place. Tell the space, only what agrees with assignment belongs here. External order. Signals internal readiness. Doors open faster to rooms prepared. 5. Practice the one true thing each day for 7 days. Before noon, ask, what is the one true thing I must do to honor the clean break? Do that first. Emails can queue. Errands can wait. Finishing a single true task will outpace a dozen scattered motions. Faithfulness is compound interest. 6. Fast from the unnecessary word. For 3 days, refuse complaint sarcasm that wounds and self-diminishing humor. When tempted, replace the the sentence with breath and a brief blessing. Peace over me. Peace over them. This fast does not make you holier. It makes you clearer. Your tongue is a rudder. Turn it, and the vessel respects the helm. 7. Choose covenant communication. Inform 2 people of your hour. 1 elder voice who covers you, and 1 peer who walks with you. Say only, I am consecrating midnight. Agree with my obedience. Ask the elder for a covering prayer, and the peer for accountability on the one true thing. Keep the circle small. Revelation loses temperature in crowded rooms. 8. Resist threshold bargains. If an invitation arrives that demands you shrink your truth, delays your obedience, or discounts your worth for exposure, decline without apology. Write a ready sentence. Thank you for thinking of me. The timing and terms do not align with my assignment. Copy-paste release. Heaven will not ask you to contort, to enter what it built to fit you. 9. Sow a hidden seed. Give privately where you cannot be repaid time, resource, skill. Do it within 72 hours of the midnight. Name the seed before God. I sow this into clarity and courage. Hidden seeds harvest in public ways, not to embarrass anyone, but to testify that the source was the Lord. 10. Anoint the threshold. With oil, water, or simply your hand, touch the top of your doorway and speak only what honors Christ crosses with me. Do the same over your heart. This is not superstition. It is sign-making the language of people who know doors are legal places. Your house will learn the scent of decision. 11. Adopt the threefold watch. Morning 5 minutes of first fruits attention. No screen. Just a verse and a vow. I will not rehearse yesterday. Midday. A recalibrating pause. 3 breaths, shoulders lowered, 1 sentence of gratitude. Evening exam. Where did I agree with truth? Where did I drift? Confession returns you to center without shame. 12. Keep your feet in peace. If agitation rises, physically slow your body. Walk at half speed for 2 minutes. Sip water. Place your hand over your chest and say, peace to this house. Your nervous system is not your enemy. It is a beloved creature that needs shepherding. Teach it the new weather. 13. Guard the art. Whatever your craft, words, numbers, tools, care, offer it as worship this week. Excellence is not perfection. It is devotion measured in details. Do small things well and let heaven scale them. Favor gravitates toward integrity like iron to magnet. 14. Establish a no-retreat marker. Choose a date within the next 30 days to do one act that the old you postponed. Submit the application schedule. The appointment release the project, have the needed conversation. Put it on a calendar and invite your 2 companions to ask you about it. Courage thrives when it has a due date. 15. Sing the short song. Find or write a 4-line refrain that tells the truth and sing it daily. Melody sneaks past defenses and tutors the soul. When fatigue swells, let the song carry you across the last few yards to obedience. As you walk, these instructions, beware the temptation to overcomplicate. Heaven's power loves simple altars. Your yes will not be graded on elegance, but on honesty. If you falter, resume. If you forget, return. Covenant is stronger than clumsy days. And when Friday finds you do not strain to feel holy, do your small liturgies, offer your short prayers, stand, kneel, open your palms. The King is punctual. He will meet you at the hinge of the hour with the key in his hand and the blessing in his breath. Your only task is consent. Now, let the peace that passes understanding draw a circle around your night. What comes next will guard you as you go. Let the circle be drawn. Feel the warmth of the fire around your camp. You are not walking unescorted. You are moving inside a promise. Chosen one. The one who calls you keeps you. The clean break is not a reckless leap. It is a guarded crossing. Before the hour turns, the shepherd has already ranged the borders. He sets sentries where your sight ends. Angels are not metaphors in poetry. They are assigned professionals fluent in the terrain of your life. They know the valley bends, the wind shears the places where footing thins, and they stand there not to replace your steps, but to steady them. Picture a hedge that breathes alive, responsive, intelligent, with the wisdom of heaven. When you rise, it rises. When you sit, it encircles. When you sleep, it keeps watch without blinking. This is not a fragile fence, but a wall of fire with a heart of mercy. It burns against intrusion and glows with welcome for everything that belongs. The enemy's reconnaissance will report the same conclusion again and again. Access denied. You will feel this not as paranoia, but as peace subtle, thick, present, like a hand at the small of your back. Assurance is not the absence of threat. It is the presence of a greater authority. You are not promised a path with no sound. You are promised a companion whose voice can be heard above every other. When stray noises rise, the rumor, the criticism, the invoice, the ache, you will learn to locate the lower register beneath them. Fear not, I am with you. That sentence is stronger than steel, lighter than breath, and perfectly sized to fit beneath your ribs. Wear it like inner armor. Your mind will be kept. The keeper of Israel does not nap while you spiral. He issues garrisons to stand at the gates. Thoughts, renewed memories, healed imaginations anointed. You will notice panic arrive to a locked door. You will watch worry knock without a key. When intrusive pictures try to stage plays on your inner stage, they will find the lights already reserved for better scenes. You are not at the mercy of mental weather. You host a climate set by covenant. Your body will be shepherded. Strength will visit you in dignified, ordinary ways, appetite for what nourishes, desire to stretch, to walk, to breathe deeper, a new courtesy toward your own frame. Heaven does not scorn matter. It sanctifies it. The same Spirit who moves planets attends to your muscles, your sleep cycles, your pulse. You will not white-knuckle wellness. You will cooperate with kindness. Protection often looks like wisdom, granted in time to be followed. Finances will be attended without humiliation. Provision may not arrive in parades, but it will prove punctual. Expect invoices to meet income like two hands agreeing. Expect counsel that saves you from unnecessary expense. Expect favor that closes the gap with quiet precision. You will be spared flashy rescue that breeds dependence and given steady streams that teach stewardship. Heaven guards not only what you have, heaven guards how you hold it. Relationships are wrapped as well. People sent by assignment will find you as if drawn on invisible lines. People who fed on your hesitance will lose their appetite. Boundaries will no longer feel like warfare. They will feel like worship. A soft no becomes a strong yes to the right things. You will not be punished for protecting what God has entrusted to you. The guard who walks your perimeter smiles when you honor the gates. And what of the night you will sleep differently, not always longer, sometimes simply truer? The soul will practice Sabbath, even when hours are few. Dreams will be cleaned like windows after rain. If you wake, you will meet presence instead of panic. If you turn, you will turn toward a verse already waiting. The bed becomes an altar, the pillow a stone of remembrance where Jacob once learned ladders. Hear me, you are sealed, not in brittle wax that cracks with heat, but in spirit, living flexible, unbreakable by earthly hands. Sealed means your story cannot be intercepted en route. Sealed means tampering leaves evidence the judge will not ignore. Sealed means the package of your purpose carries, delivered to beloved in a handwriting hell cannot counterfeit. Let peace do its work. It is not a sedative. It is a sheriff. It arrives with jurisdiction and posts notices on the doors of your days. Eviction served to anxiety. Curfew enacted for chaos. Trespassers prosecuted. Agree with peace and watch authority feel natural in your mouth. Feel the wind shift. The air is sweet with what's blooming. Now lift your eyes. Transformation is stepping onto the stage. The guard stands. The gate swings. Behold what rises in the clearing. Do not brace for the worst. Make room for the best. Chosen One transformation is not a costume change. It is a new creature stepping forward from within the old rooms of your life. Protection has done its work. Assurance has set the perimeter. Now, watch fulfillment lift its head like morning after an honest night. You will feel it first as proportion returning burdens shrinking to their true size, blessings expanding to fill their rightful space. The scale evens, the yoke fits. You breathe and realize you are not out of breath. Assignments that once felt like boulders will roll with a fingertip. Not because the task is smaller, but because your strength is truer and the angle is finally right. Heaven has taught you leverage how to place faith beneath what looked immovable and tip it into obedience. Emails you postponed write themselves. Conversations you feared unfold with mutual honor. Creative wells that sputtered run clear, and the water tastes like childhood, simple, cold, joyful. Expect beauty to appear in ordinary frames. The hallway that always felt narrow will seem wider without renovations. The same kitchen, the same commute, the same desk. Yet the air hums with yes. Gratitude stops being a discipline and becomes your default. You find yourself narrating goodness under your breath, like a psalmist who never learned to keep quiet. This is not denial of pain. It is recognition of presence. Pain becomes context, not compass. Purpose will not shout. It will walk toward you like a friend who knows the path to your door. It will bring tools that fit your hands and projects that match your pace. You will notice a new ease in saying no to exquisite distractions and yes to simple obediences. What used to seduce you with applause now feels noisy. What used to look small now glows with assignment. You will choose depth over stage lights and watch fruit outlive fanfare. Relationships renew their honesty. Those meant to cross with you will meet you with clean eyes and steady palms. Conversation thickens, less performance, more presence. You will laugh easier, cry truer, bless quicker, forgive faster. Boundaries cease sounding like fences and start sounding like invitations to meet you where love is healthy. Your peace will give others permission to rest. Your courage will teach others to stand. Provision arrives in formation. No more frantic scavenging. Instead, synchronized arrivals ideas paired with resources timelines, paired with help opportunities, paired with wisdom. You will witness enough become a holy word again. Not stingy, not scared, satisfied. From satisfaction, generosity grows wings. You will give without theater because your source is not fragile. The math of heaven is not subtraction dressed as sacrifice. It is multiplication governed by mercy. Your inner weather will stabilize. Where storms once dictated your calendar, you will notice cloud and wind, but steer by the sun. Anxiety will attempt one or two rehearsals and realize the audience has gone home. Joy will become an informed decision, not a naive reflex. Peace will stop asking permission and begin setting the table. Even your body will confess the changed shoulders that migrate down jaw, that unclenches sleep, that trusts the night to be kind. And then acceleration, the ethical kind, the honest kind. Calls return themselves. Doors open and ask you where you'd like them placed. What took months now takes days. What took days now takes an afternoon of focused love. You will not worship speed. You will steward it, knowing momentum is a servant, not a master. The shepherd's pace remains the metronome. Favor only amplifies what obedience has already composed. Do not be surprised by holy nostalgia. Memories redeemed not to chain you to yesterday, but to show you how thoroughly the Lord keeps receipts. Old scenes will revisit you, this time scored with laughter. You will bless what once broke you because it became your bread. You will recognize how the road bent to spare you cliffs, and how the winter kept your roots honest. Gratitude will archive what grief once edited. As fulfillment takes its seat, worship will choose a higher register. Not just thank you for rescuing me, but use me as you will. Not just open a door, but make me a door. You will notice authority in your voice when you intercede. Your prayers will smell like the throne room, not the waiting room. Heaven will trust you with names, with burdens, with blueprints, because you no longer confuse platform with purpose. Hiddenness will not insult you. Applause will not addict you. Both will serve you as seasons do. Finally, see yourself in the mirror of the promise, not the escapee, but the heir. Not the hustler, but the steward. Not the survivor, but the builder. The clean break did not amputate you from your history. It enthroned you above it. Scars remain, but they shine map lines for others to follow. You carry keys you didn't know you were forging in the furnace and locks begin to recognize you as you pass. Let tears come if they want. Let laughter rise if it must. Lift your hands in the room you call ordinary and watch it turn cathedral, because presence has called it so. The hour has delivered what it owed, not just change, but transfiguration. Not just doors, but domains. Not just a blessing in your hand, but a blessing becoming your hands. Stand in this light. Let it sign your name across the day. Now gather your breath. The blessing will seal what God has begun. Hold the light. Let it rest on your shoulders like a mantle you were born to wear. Breathe once more and agree. Chosen. 1. Seal this hour with the language of your destiny. Let truth be short, strong, and near enough to touch. Speak, and let the bones of your day remember. Affirmation. 1. I move in God's appointed time. Midnight favors my obedience. Say it until the room hears you, until your pulse harmonizes with it. Time is no longer a tyrant in your story. It is a servant. You do not chase hours. Hours meet you under covenant. You will not be hurried by fear or delayed by doubt. Your steps are paced by presence. Affirmation 2. The clean break is complete. What bound me cannot cross with me. Let every boundary learn your voice. You honor history, but you do not haul it. The residue of yesterday has no visa for this new country. Patterns without permission return to dust. Your gates know your king. Your path knows your name. Affirmation 3. Peace is my atmosphere. Wisdom is my way. Peace is not a mood, it is your jurisdiction. Wisdom is not a theory, it is your method. Decisions settle quickly now, not because you rush, but because you rest. Your yes is precise. Your no is kind. Your spirit holds a steady flame that wind cannot bully. Affirmation 4. I am an heir, not an escapee. I build from victory, not toward it. You are not running from shadows. You are governing from light. Inheritance speaks through your hands. Your work is worship. Your boundaries are blessings. Favor recognizes your integrity and keeps pace with your devotion. Now lift your hands or your heart. If your hands are busy, and receive what cannot be earned, only embraced. Beloved, may the face that authored your days shine upon you with unblinking kindness. May the fire that guards your borders warm your nights and warn your enemies. May the voice that called you by your true name sing over your steps until fear forgets its lines. May angels keep watch where your sight ends, and may the wind of God fill your sails without tearing them. May doors consent when you arrive, and may closed doors bless you by staying closed. May provision meet you like a well in familiar desert, punctual and pure. May your sleep be Sabbath, and your waking be worship. May your yes remain unbribed, your no remain unashamed, and your love remain unhurried. I bless your mind to host clarity, your body to host strength, your home to host presence. I bless your work to bear fruit that outlives applause, and your secrets to stay holy. I bless your companions to be covenant keepers, and your boundaries to be peace-laden lines. I bless your memory to release what is finished, and your imagination to welcome what is due. Let it be signed in heaven, and seen on earth the hinge has turned. The crossing is clean, the hour is kept. Walk in joy. Walk in authority. Walk in the easy yoke of the one who loves you. Amen to the decree. Amen to the timing. Amen to the King. Go in peace, anointed one. The night has yielded and the way is bright.